This is update for August 7, 2022, day 165 of the war and of the date update. So today we're going to jump straight into walks through the front line. So first of all, there were new attacks by HIMARS systems towards at Antonivskiy bridge, which was almost sort of repaired, was ready to open up by the Russian administration. Now it's apparently going to be out of action for some time again. There was also some either equipment or something else that was blown on the bridge, on top of the bridge itself, meaning the bridge was damaged. It wasn't totally blown up. We just there was something on top of the bridge. It's unclear. We'll find out in the coming days what's going on there. Also, Ukrainian forces attacked Russian um, Russian sort of bases near Melitopol as well. There was very successful attacks. So this attacks by HIMARS systems continue as the time passes by. So we're getting a little bit more and more skeptical in the effectiveness of these attacks in terms of not that they definitely damage Russian equipment. The question is, are they achieving sort of more strategic goal? And that remains the open question so far. Now let's start going. Let's do walks through the front line, starting from the very north, and we're gonna do it in clockwise fashion as we always do. So the situation along this state border is remains the same. Exchange of artillery fire, rocket attacks, all sort of like mortar fire. No essential changes there. Now let's move to Kharkiv. Things here also on pause frozen, just exchange of artillery fire. That's pretty much it. Some rocket attacks, but that's sort of normal, typical. Now let's move to Izium bridgehead and let's see what's going on there. So there were some attacks by Russian forces in the same typical areas towards Krasnopili and Dolina, those two villages, and then in Bohorodechne. Obviously, this is attempt to test Ukrainian defenses here towards Slavyansk, and it does look more of the sort of destruction attack or attack that's aimed more towards keeping Ukrainian forces here so that Ukrainian command doesn't transfer any of these units here, 95th or 93rd or 79th brigade down south where situation is pretty critical. Also, similar attack was in Vernopilya. So there was, let's say, kind of like destruction attacks. That's how we call them. That were going on here. Also, there is nothing new on this attack from Balaklia, which again makes us more and more convinced that this was also kind of distraction attack, and just to create sort of overload on in Ukrainian sort of command, and just kind of make them think that there is something major happening here. But as we discussed, the Russian forces don't have enough forces to open the third area for attack. So there is nothing going on there at this point. Now let's move to North Donbass area where the sort of main fighting is happening. So here actually some changes. As you can see, Russian troops are attacking now again at towards Vernyukamensk. So they're trying to capture that village. So that's a little bit of a change relative to what's been going on, because before it was pretty quiet in this northern section. The southern section is all the same, no changes. Russian troops trying to capture this village Yakovlivka. Then they're attacking to capture village Bakhmutske, and then they're attacking sort of more it's kind of like inside of Bakhmut. There are no updates where they sort of the Russian troops are at this point. We have sort of feeling and understanding that they are somewhat regrouping. And actually, let's just move a little bit south to understand what's going on. So it feels that they are kind of a little on pause here, straight east of Bakhmut, with the idea of kind of like capturing more, sort of kind of covering their flank in the southern area. So As you can see, there are attacks towards Zaitsevo, Vershina, then Kodyma, and actually we confirmed that Russian troops captured this village Travneve. So now, as you can imagine, we updated the map, and as you can see, Kodyma is becoming kind of like a salient that's being attacked by Russian troops relentlessly from all directions, because obviously the goal is to cut it off and then kind of like move closer towards this road from Bakhmut to, I believe it's Gorlivka there, so that then you can kind of have better launch pad to attack Bakhmut itself. Nevertheless, Russian troops are working slowly here in Bakhmut, but it does feel that the main focus right now in this kind of like most southern section of the front line here. Now let's move to west of to the front line west of Donetsk. Here things are essentially the same, except their sort of focus of attack kind of a little bit narrow. So the sort of top priorities of Diivka as before. It's being attacked from northeastern direction, then sort of uh, southeastern direction, and then also attack towards Pisky. No new Russian gains at this point. They use this typical strategy of artillery firewall. So, and it's being applied sort of as we speak at Ukrainian defenses, and so we may see some result in a day or two. But essentially, this machine is working, and until there is a credible strategic answer, it's just continue working and continue slowly grinding forward. So for that reason, that's why we we understand that eventually these defenses will be broken here, and Russian troops will attack towards Vodyane, which is kind of like in northern direction from here, and then more like northwestern towards Pervomaisky. Also, Russian troops continue attack in Marinka. It doesn't feel that there is much success there. This is again, that's just kind of trying hope here, but this being area of Russian focus for sort of forever without much success. Now let's. This is just a more close picture of what's going on here. So this are Russian gains in Pisky. This is where they gain. Ukrainian troops still holding on to this kind of like western and like northern and northwestern section of the village, but basically they hanging by the thread there at this point. Then this is also this coal mine that was captured, or the sort of the top of the coal mine that was captured by Russian troops, and which was important strong point for Ukrainian defenses in this area. Nevertheless, Russian troops so far did not have any progress. It doesn't mean that they will not. As we said, that artillery continues working. Once they do their job, then the infantry will move in. Now let's move to Zaporizhzhia front line. Things here are totally stable. No changes. Everything kind of the same. Now let's jump to Kherson bridgehead and see what's going on here. As we kind of see the effectiveness of HIMARS attacks, or the strategy of this, let's put it this way. It's not a problem of HIMARS attacks, because they are a fine weapon the way they are, and they can be used for counter battery fire, and that's probably what they should have been used in the first place. That's what we sort of discussing before, that the problem is not sort of cutting off Russian, or not destroying Russian ammunition depots, because Russian command will figure out how to address that problem, and their mission is going to be there. So the goal is actually to destroy artillery sort of units, specific cannons, and the more important, not even so much of the cannons as the crews, because the crews are the keys, because they hard to train, they take long time. The Russian side does not have sort of a lot of automation there. Sort of basically like you kind of sometimes use sort of old school calculation to calculate sort of your targets and so on. And this really requires good knowledge of math, and it's always in high demand. And short supply. Let's put this way. So if you sort of destroy that, then that's the weakest really point, or as they call it, Achilles heel in all of the system. Then the rest will sort of start falling apart by itself. And hitting at the ammunition depots, as we discussed many times, is just it's Russia has plenty of supply of that, and that really does not sort of solve the problem. And so we see that by this attack by the 108th Regiment of the 7th Airborne Division that attacked towards Pervomaisky. There was, as usually, very heavy Russian artillery barrage. So again, just to kind of prove the point that destroying the bridges or trying to destroy their supply and logistics doesn't quite work, even though it's probably in theory great idea, but the practice shows that it doesn't really work. The attack stalled, wasn't successful so far, but again remains to be seen how it all goes. We'll continue updating on this attack, which is very counter, sort of how to say, against all expectations, because the expectation was that Ukrainian troops will launch a major attack in this area, and destruction of the bridges was sort of preparing that. Nevertheless, Russian command sort of decided to take initiative in its own hands, and now trying to launch attack towards basically it's aimed against Mykolaiv. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and until tomorrow. Bye bye.